Rain poured like the sky itself was crying, and the streets were empty except for one small garage glowing faintly in the night. Inside, a mechanic worked alone, hands black with grease, every motion heavy with exhaustion. Outside, a nurse's car sat broken, stranded after a grueling double shift, and she had nowhere to turn. No one would stay late to help, except him. Tonight, one act of kindness would change everything, not just a car, but 2 lives forever. Would you stay late for a stranger? Watch how a simple decision sparks hope, gratitude, and a heart-touching connection that no one expected.
Rain poured relentlessly over the small town, turning streets into rivers and reflections of neon lights into fractured mirrors. The rhythmic patter against the workshop's tin roof was almost hypnotic, yet inside, the air was thick with tension, oil, and the faint scent of burnt metal. In the dim glow of fluorescent lights, Adam worked alone, his hands blackened and raw, his sleeves soaked from the humid, stormy night. Every tool he touched seemed to weigh him down more than the last, and yet he moved with meticulous care. This wasn't just any night at the garage. Tonight would change everything. Just hours ago, a nurse named Clara had pulled into his small, almost forgotten repair shop. Her car, an aging silver sedan with dents along the doors and scratches on the hood, had broken down mid-shift at the hospital. She looked exhausted, her face pale from too many long hours tending to patients, the soft edges of her eyes hiding a fatigue only someone who carried the weight of other people's pain could understand. She had apologized profusely, clutching her bag of scrubs, offering to leave the car overnight, but Adam had shaken his head. "I'll stay late. I'll get it done tonight," he had said. As he worked, the memories of his own struggles surfaced. Long nights after school, working multiple jobs just to keep his small shop afloat, watching life pass by while he tried to build something meaningful from nothing. His hands trembled from exhaustion, yet he refused to stop. Every bolt tightened, every engine component adjusted, felt like a lifeline stretching across the night. Outside, the storm raged, but inside, there was a quiet determination, a silent promise he was making not just to fix a car, but to give someone hope. If you believe in kindness and second chances, take a moment now to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. The night deepened, and the silence was broken only by the occasional rumble of thunder. Adam's gaze flicked to the clock. Midnight. Then 1 a.m. Sweat streaked down his forehead, mixing with the grime of the day, as he wrestled with a particularly stubborn part under the car's hood. Each movement was deliberate, careful, almost like he was coaxing the machine back to life with his own hands, whispering to it in the language of patience and persistence. Clara had been waiting in her car, shivering slightly under a thin jacket, texting sporadically, probably anxious to return to her home after a grueling double shift. She had said nothing about the time, had offered nothing except her tired smile and the quiet gratitude in her eyes. Adam noticed the way she glanced at him occasionally, the exhaustion in her posture matched only by the sincerity in her appreciation. He wondered how many nights she had spent tending to strangers in pain, how many times she had given her all without asking for anything in return. Hours passed. The storm outside softened into a drizzle, a temporary reprieve. The car, which had been silent and immobile for so long, finally roared to life under Adam's careful touch. He leaned back, feeling the tension drain from his shoulders, exhaustion mingling with satisfaction. But it wasn't just about the repair, it was about connection, about 2 lives intersecting in a moment that neither would forget. He wiped his hands on a rag, ready to call it a night, when Clara stepped forward, eyes glistening, voice soft but unwavering in its sincerity.
Clara's gratitude was palpable. She didn't just thank him for fixing her car, she thanked him for seeing her, for understanding the quiet battles of a life that often went unnoticed. Adam felt a lump in his throat. He had fixed countless cars, each with their own mechanical woes, yet never had a simple act of repair felt so monumental. Tonight was different. It was no longer about engines, oil, or labor. It was about empathy, about the way small kindnesses can ripple through lives in ways we never anticipate. The memory of his own mother flashed in his mind. She had worked tirelessly, never complaining, always pushing through exhaustion to provide for him. He had understood the sacrifice only when he faced the world himself. Now, standing in the dim light of the workshop, watching Clara breathe a sigh of relief as she ran her fingers over the smooth surface of her repaired car, he felt a strange, unspoken connection to every person who had ever quietly struggled. The hours had not been easy. Every twist of a wrench, every maneuver to align a stubborn engine part had tested his patience, pushing him past physical fatigue into mental and emotional endurance. Yet each challenge had been a mirror of life itself, demanding, exhausting, and ultimately rewarding. He realized that acts of kindness, no matter how small, were a defiance against a world that often seemed indifferent. By staying late, by offering his skill and time without expectation, he had inadvertently rewritten both their nights, creating a story neither would forget. As Clara prepared to leave, she turned to him once more, her hands clasped together, her expression a mixture of admiration and deep gratitude. She handed him a small envelope, insisting he open it later. Adam hesitated, but the sincerity in her eyes left him no choice. She thanked him again, her voice catching slightly as she spoke. There was something profound in the simplicity of her gesture, acknowledgement, appreciation, recognition. It was more than a thank you. It was a validation of every long night, every struggle, every moment of perseverance he had endured. Outside, the storm had cleared completely. The streets glistened under the streetlights, reflections dancing like fleeting moments of beauty. Clara drove away slowly, glancing back once with a smile that seemed to carry an unspoken promise of hope. Adam returned to his workshop, tired but strangely invigorated. He opened the envelope she had given him. Inside was a handwritten note, heartfelt and genuine, expressing how much his dedication had meant to her. Alongside it was a small token, a simple, thoughtful gesture, not of wealth, but of sincerity, reminding him that the impact of kindness is often immeasurable. The night had changed him, not in the grand, dramatic ways people often expect, but in the quiet, enduring way that small, meaningful actions accumulate. He thought about the countless people whose struggles went unnoticed, whose efforts were silently heroic, and he realized that he had a choice to continue showing up, offering what he could, even when the world didn't notice. The gratitude he had received tonight was not a reward, it was a mirror, reflecting the humanity in all of them.
Days turned into weeks, and yet the memory of that night lingered like a soft, persistent light. Clara returned to the shop occasionally, not out of necessity, but because she had come to see Adam not just as a mechanic, but as a reminder that kindness still existed in small, unassuming places. Each visit was an affirmation of the bond they had formed through shared struggle and simple compassion. She spoke of long shifts at the hospital, of patients whose smiles were fleeting, and of moments when a word of acknowledgement could mean the difference between despair and hope. Adam listened, absorbed, learning that even the smallest gestures, a car fixed, a patient treated, a heartfelt thank you, had the power to change the trajectory of a life. It wasn't long before others noticed. Word of Adam's dedication spread through the town like a quiet, unstoppable current. People came, sometimes with broken cars, sometimes just seeking a place where they would be seen and heard. Adam treated them all with the same unwavering attention, the same care he had shown Clara that stormy night. His workshop became more than a place for repairs. It became a sanctuary for those who believed in human decency, in the simple but profound power of giving without expectation. And then came the day Clara returned, holding a small bouquet of wildflowers. Her eyes sparkled with a light that mirrored the gratitude and admiration she carried. "You changed my night," she said softly, "but more importantly, you reminded me and everyone else what it means to care." Adam felt the lump in his throat again, this time not from exhaustion, but from the deep, resonant understanding that his choice to stay late had created ripples far beyond the walls of his shop. Life has a way of teaching lessons in subtle ways. Adam understood that he could not control the storms outside, nor the exhaustion that life demanded of everyone, but he could choose how to respond, how to show up, and how to extend kindness when it mattered most. That night, when he stayed late, he had repaired more than a car. He had restored faith, rekindled hope, and created a connection that neither time nor distance could diminish. If this story touched your heart, please like, comment, and share it. Let the world know that simple acts of kindness can change lives in ways we never imagine. Before you go, leave a comment about a moment when someone's small act of kindness made a big difference in your life. It could inspire someone else to do the same. Adam's hands were still rough, his muscles sore, but his heart was light. He knew that life would continue to demand everything of him, yet he also knew that moments like this, the ones of sincere gratitude and human connection, were the reason every struggle was worth it. And as the sun rose over the quiet town, casting golden light over his workshop, he smiled, ready to face whatever challenges came next, knowing that kindness, once sown, would always return.